The Philadelphia Eagles are quietly pulling off a total organizational masterpiece behind closed doors, and nobody is talking about the massive ripple effects this is about to cause across the entire NFL. While the rest of the league is sleeping on the post-draft lull, Howie Roseman is playing chess, rewriting the rulebook on how to build a championship roster and a bulletproof front office at the exact same time. If you think the roster construction ended when the draft clock stopped ticking, you're completely blind to the masterclass that just went down in South Philadelphia. We are talking about roster shifts, a mind-blowing promotion for an absolute franchise legend, and a stealth defensive weapon arriving for a visit that could completely change the dynamic of the special teams unit and the secondary depth. Before we dive in, smash that subscribe button if you want the fastest NFL updates on the planet. To fully understand the madness happening right now, you have to look at the immediate cutthroat roster decisions that just went down. The front office isn't waiting around for training camp to see who has the stomach for this culture. They just officially cut ties with safety Tucker Large, a player who actually carried some real intrigue coming out of the college ranks. Large was sitting as a top 60 safety on major draft boards, a guy who flashed elite potential at South Dakota State before moving up to Washington State. He was a player many thought could sneak his way into a depth role after the draft process concluded. But the NFL is a cold, brutal business. Large was waived with a non-football injury designation, meaning whatever setback he suffered happened away from the team facility. In Philadelphia, if you aren't ready to compete right this second, the train leaves without you. But watch how fast this front office moves to close one door and blast another one wide open. The ink wasn't even dry on Large's release papers before the team announced they were signing linebacker Isaiah King to fill that empty slot on the 90-man offseason roster. King is an absolute grinder out of the University of Idaho, playing at the FCS level where you have to fight for every single shred of national attention. His path to this roster is nothing short of wild. When the initial undrafted free agent lists were flying around after the draft, King's name was nowhere to be found. He didn't get the guaranteed contract or the post-draft phone call with a signing bonus. Instead, he had to earn it the hardest way possible, coming into rookie minicamp on a brutal, short-term tryout basis. For 2 straight days, under the burning sun and the intense gaze of the coaching staff, King put on an absolute show. He blew the staff away so intensely that they refused to let him leave the building without a contract. But as crazy as this roster flip is, it completely pales in comparison to the shocking executive contracts that were just handed out to solidify the brain trust. What the organization just did with their staff contracts proves why this franchise is consistently 10 steps ahead of the rest of the league. They just handed out massive contract extensions to 2 of the most vital figures in the entire building, and the implications are massive. First up, Assistant General Manager John Ferrari just got locked down with a major extension. This is a massive chess move by the front office. When you carry the official title of Assistant General Manager, league rules allow the franchise to block other teams from making lateral hires. If another organization wants to steal Ferrari away to fix their own front office, they can't just offer him the same title or a slight raise. They have to offer him the full, undisputed general manager job. After already losing key executives to other organizations earlier this offseason, locking down Ferrari for the long haul is an absolute lifesaver for organizational stability. The man has a decade of experience within this specific system and nearly 20 years of NFL front office expertise. He is the ultimate safety net for the executive structure. But the real blockbuster news that has the entire fan base celebrating is the official extension for a literal South Philadelphia legend. DiSandro, universally known as Big Dom, just signed a deal that elevates his status to an unprecedented level within the organization. For decades, people outside the city just saw him as the chief of security, the imposing figure keeping the peace on the sidelines. But inside the building, he is considered the absolute heartbeat of the franchise, a trusted confidant to the head coach, the general manager, and ownership. He has been a foundational pillar of this culture since 1999. Now, his loyalty and brilliant football mind are being rewarded with massive new titles, including senior advisor to the general manager and head of Gameday, coaching operations. Who is truly to blame for the media completely underrating the massive off-field impact of front office legends like Big Dom? Drop a name in the comments below right now, and let me know if you think this executive stability guarantees a deeper playoff run. To truly understand why this executive extension is a masterclass, you have to look past the viral sideline moments and look at his actual track record in player evaluation and culture fit. Years ago, when the team was looking at undrafted running back Corey Clement out of Wisconsin, there were major red flags and character concerns causing the rest of the league to pass on him. Big Dom, utilizing his deep roots and extensive network, did his own deep dive investigation. He pounded the table in the war room, telling the executives that Clement had the right makeup to survive and thrive in this city. What happened next is literal history. Clement became an absolute weapon, exploding in the Super Bowl for over 100 all-purpose yards and catching one of the most iconic, legendary touchdown passes in the back of the end zone to secure the franchise's first Lombardi trophy. That is the hidden value that doesn't show up on a stat sheet. Big Dom isn't just managing security details when the players go to basketball playoff games. He is actively conducting deep background searches during free agency and the draft. When the team made the monumental decision to draft elite defensive tackle Jalen Carter with a number 9 overall pick, it was Big Dom who did the heavy lifting to ensure the young star would fit seamlessly into the locker room culture. If the top general manager in football trusts his football instincts implicitly, the rest of the league should be absolutely terrified of the stability this creates. But wait until you hear about the explosive defensive weapon who just walked through the facility doors for a secret free agent visit. The front office is hunting for more elite defensive depth, and they just hosted former Kansas City Chiefs defensive back Nazeeh Johnson for an intensive free agent visit at the team's training complex. If a contract agreement is reached, this signing is going to happen lightning fast because organized team activities are right around the corner. Johnson is one of the most fascinating, elite athletes hiding in the free agent market. He was drafted with the 259th pick in the legendary 2022 draft, coming out of Marshall just 3 spots before Brock Purdy became Mr. Irrelevant. While injuries have severely derailed his trajectory, his raw, unadulterated athletic profile is absolutely jaw-dropping. Before injuries disrupted his momentum, Johnson put up an astonishing 9.09 relative athletic score. We're talking about a defensive back who stands at 5'10", weighs nearly 200 pounds, and possesses cartoonish explosiveness. He put up 16 reps on the bench press, recorded a mind-numbing 42-inch vertical jump, a broad jump that cleared 10 feet, and clocked a blazing 4.38-second 40-yard dash. That level of recovery speed is an absolute luxury in modern pro football. When he was healthy in Kansas City, he logged critical defensive snaps, showing incredible versatility by playing outside corner, matching up in the slot, and dropping back to safety. But his true value, and the reason the coaching staff is salivating at the thought of adding him to the roster, is his elite capability as a special teams gunner. He has hundreds of high-intensity special teams snaps under his belt, flying down the field to blow up returners before they can even make a move. If you look at the current defensive backfield, the starting unit is already completely locked down with terrifying talent. You have Quinyon Mitchell and Reek Woolen projected to absolutely lock things down on the outside, providing a rare blend of length, instinct, then you have the brilliant versatility of
really dictates the defense.
He's expected to dominate the nickel slot role while possessing the elite football IQ to slide back to safety or fill in on the boundary whenever the defensive coordinator wants to disguise a coverage. The depth behind them is already incredibly fierce with young, hungry cornerbacks like Jacorian Bennett, Kyrie Jackson, and Khalil Ringo constantly pushing for playing time. Bringing in a hyper-athletic weapon like Johnson isn't about fixing a broken secondary. It's a luxury depth move to ensure that if injuries strike the main core, the defense won't miss a single beat. He gives this coaching staff a Swiss Army knife who can match up with lightning-fast slot receivers, provide emergency safety depth, and instantly become the undisputed ace of the coverage units on special teams. The front office is building a machine where every single roster spot from 1 to 90 is occupied by an elite competitor. And this latest offensive push proves they are not stopping until the roster is completely flawless.